96.6% of my winning trades reach a minimum of 2 standard deviations. In this video, I'll show you exactly when to expect retracement, continuations, and full-on reversals using standard deviation projections. We'll break down real examples from basic all the way to advanced. I've used this framework for years and it has attained me over 7 figures in funding with consistent monthly payouts. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Before we can use projections, we have to know what the manipulation lag is. It is simply a breaker pattern, which is nothing else than a sweep into displacement into the opposite direction. Most of you are familiar with the concept accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. So while everyone is chasing this up move right here, you are smarter. You will see this manipulation happening before it happens. Wait until the break and then we project it downwards, and I'm gonna give you some crazy sauce, man. Just be ready. Now, standard deviation projections is a way to figure out how far price will travel by projecting this manipulation lag outwards. So the bigger the manipulation, the bigger the move. That's a jam, write that down. So knowing this, we put our tool from the top to the bottom, we project it downwards, then we have our retracement / reversal area right here in between -2 and -2.5 standard deviations, and our terminus at -3.5 and -4 standard deviations, which basically means the move is done. Quick note, because we might get SMT divergence at the highs, and the manipulation won't be a sweep, but it will be a failure swing, and you'll learn how to project that too. So listen closely, you're not going to project every single breaker like all the other traders. Use a few parameters to pick the high probability lags, and don't worry, you're going to see some crazy examples that will elevate you to a next level, so stick until the end. Here are the settings I use for the Fibonacci retracement tool, so we can use it as standard deviation projections. If you want to copy them, pause the video right now. As I told y'all, we want to see our manipulation lag happening inside of a key liquidity sweep with key SMT. Do we have that right here? Yes, we have SMT between EU and GU at this low right here, indicating to us that this might be the reversal area. But we don't just blindly trade that, as you guys have seen in my guide on how to trade these beautiful daily closures. We wait for a H1 breaker pattern, correct? Yeah, correct. So let's wait. What would be our breaker pattern right here? It would be this high. Why? Because that caused this down move right here. We wait for a closure above there. We have that right here. Yes, this right here is our manipulation lag, and then we will anticipate the distribution coming up here. Let's put our Fibonacci tool from the bottom of the manipulation lag all the way to the top, project it upwards to -2 to -2.5 standard deviations for our retracement area. I have a beautiful colored retracement area right here, so you can see. And then this would be our terminus at -3.5 standard deviations. You might be wondering, Oscay, this is fun and all, but how can we enter? Bro, my swing model is like this. You have a H1 breaker pattern with SMT in alignment with the narrative. And now we will try and reach for -2 standard deviations. And if you want, you can even zoom in into the breaker and wait for our lower time frame confirmation. Let's see if we get that. So right here, we have a beautiful sweep into displacement, making this our unicorn. And because this wick is probably caused by news, you would enter around here, as that is a change in the state of delivery. And then we target 2 standard deviations from the big manipulation lag. Now let's see if we reach there. Beautiful. That is just art. And now you're probably wondering, is this a retracement or a reversal? How can we confirm that? This would be red flags if I saw price coming in here and create another breaker pattern to the downside. And then we could potentially look to trade this back down right here to then either continue up or continue back down like this, right? But nah, we don't see a breaker pattern, so we are not scared. We're chilling. And if you look closely, you can see a breaker pattern occurring right here, because this is a low. And then we have another high right here. We put our limit right there, but chill, chill, chill. We obviously put our standard deviation tool also right here. And then we can target -2. Damn, Oscay, did you just leak some crazy sauce? And then we can see if this is either a retracement area or a reversal area inside of this other lag. Let's play price forward. And that's just beautiful. Now, did it reach our terminus? That's tough. It didn't. Maybe it did on another broker. On this one, it didn't with a miniature pip, but we have our other retracement lag, which it beautifully tapped into, delivered a beautiful trade. And now we can see if this is going to be a full-on reversal or not. Right here, it reversed, but our higher time frame narrative is up. We want to see if we can reach the terminus based on this lag right here. Now let's wait and look for another confirmation to the upside. Now, actually, you can see a confirmation right here. So this is the last sweep that caused the up move right here. So that is another breaker pattern inside of our higher time frame narrative. Then we can look and see if price is going to go all the way to our terminus. Why? Because it has not yet been met and we don't have proper confirmation for a reversal. Why? Because this leg right here is not pushing price down, correct? Because if it was pushing price down, it would not show this intent. Right here, we failed to push price down, so we are anticipating price to go to terminus up here. And bro, if this hits, y'all owe me a like and subscribe and a little comment. Bang. Look at that. This is just art. You cannot make this up. We beautifully tap minus 3.5 standard deviations and then we reject. Do you make this up? Because I can't. And now we have a breaker pattern right here to the downside, indicating to us that this is potentially the reversal area, pushing price back down to minus 2.5. And let's see if that occurs. And I don't even know if this is going to occur. I'm just guessing right now. Bang. Look at that. Can you make this up? You tell me right now if you can make this up. Because I can't. And then right here will be the breaker pattern. Stop on the high. Target 2. Bang. Like, look at that. You cannot make this stuff up, man. I'm giving y'all some crazy sauce. If you apply this in your model, it's over. Remember, I told y'all you can also use this on failure swings. Right here will be an example on that. We have a SMT with EU at these lows. Now, EU confirms our failure swing right here. Now, we put our Fibonacci from the bottom to the top, and we look minus 2 to minus 2.5 if we are going to get a retracement or a reversal. Now, right here, we have another failure swing on EU versus GU. So I am going to also put our standard deviation projections right there. I want to see if we're going to get a retracement or a reversal at minus 2 to minus 2.5. Let me make this bigger so it's easier for your eyes. This failure swing right here, we project the leg downwards. We reach minus 2 to minus 2.5. We instantly react aggressively upwards. And we still have this retracement area right here, or a reversal area for the future. So as you can see, this is so overpowered that you can use it on the daily, on the H1, on the M5. It is just so broken. And bang, we hit our retracement area. Is that a coincidence? I don't know, bro. You tell me. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna freestyle this one. I can't be bothered to find examples. So look at this. We have our manipulation leg right here. We get the retracement right here, correct? And then look how far in the future we still refer to minus 3.5 as our terminus. And look how precisely we get that before we get the next reversal right here. Look at that. Can we retrace again? Bro, you can make... I didn't even practice this. I didn't even check this. This is just a random example. Well, this one that was here, I already had that. I just made this one. Random example. Look at that. Look how it respects it. It does not make any sense. This will be the most insane example so far. So pay close attention. We sweep this low right here, and now we just wait for our sentiment to be confirmed. How do we know that? This was the last up move that created the down move. So we basically wait for a closure above here. Now, do we have that? Yes, we have that right here. That is our breaker, and now we look for a retest inside of that breaker. But first, let's project upwards. Let me mark out our retracement or reversal area right here. We zoom into the M5 and we look for a retest of this breaker, this one right here. We look for a retest of this breaker, and then we look for our entry confirmation on the lower time frames. Now, do we have that? Yes, we have that right here because we have a sweep into displacement, and then we can put our limit on this M5 breaker. And I've replayed price so much, it starts to lag. Like they ain't trying to give you all the sauce, it's lagging. Enigma is holding me hostage, bro. Wait, let me show y'all. We got tapped in. So we got tapped in right here. Then we can put our standard deviations from the bottom of the top because this is another unicorn and this is our retracement area for that. But if we have a higher time frame sentiment like this, now you're going to learn how to combine the time frames and get crazy trades. Look at this. Then, if we know that we are likely to reach here, why don't we just TP here? Are we some scared babies? And if you look closely, it aligns beautifully with the minus 3.5 to minus 4. So that's how you stack confluences. Let's just play price forward and let's see what happens. That's just beautiful. So what did I tell y'all? If we don't see resistance at the minus 2 to minus 2.5, then we can expect price to continue through it. If I zoom in right here to the M5, and if we look closely, do we see the M5 dropping down in minus 2 to minus 2.5 standard deviation? No. So why would we be afraid? So we can hold the trade to minus 3.5 and minus 4 or the bigger minus 2. Let's see and continue price. Beautiful. You tell me right now if you can make this up. And I want to give y'all another quick gem. Look at this. This right here is another break pattern, right? And we close above it right here. So you already know the sauce. Bottom to the top. This is another retracement area. Can you make this up? You tell me right now if you can make this up because I can't. How do these two align so closely? How? Tell me right now. Because the market is fake, so fake. So we just projected it upwards. So this manipulation leg is terminus, aligns with this manipulation leg it's terminus. I'm gonna give you all a quick jam about terminus in a bit. So we almost tapped the breaker inside of New York session. Now let's see if we get our entry confirmation. This is the last low that we sweep. So I want to see a closure above here. Do we get that? Yes, this suffices as a closure in my opinion. Set your limit, mark to execute, and let's see what price has in store for us. And let's project this manipulation leg upwards to -2, -2.5, or -3.5 to -4. But are we babies? Are we scared? Now we're gonna use the bigger leg. And let's see how price will play out. Bang, look at that. What did I tell you guys about if we blast through -2 to -2.5? How likely is it to get to -3.5 to -4? Likely. In this scenario, I was gonna give you all some sauce about terminus. If we blast through terminus, there's a high likely chance that we will continue blasting through. Right here, we blasted through terminus. Do we have a high chance we're gonna blast through? Yes, sir. Let's see if price reaches our final target all the way from this gold manipulation leg right here. And then, bro, that's just some crazy sauce. Bang. Let's just go through the trades you could have caught because I just got too excited. So right here, we have the H1 breaker model. Is that a trade? Yes. And we had this low time frame confirmation inside of that. Is that a trade? Yes. And we had another breaker right here. You could have put your limit on there. Is that a trade? Yes, that is also a trade. But then we had another low time frame confirmation inside of that breaker. Is that a trade? Yes, that is a trade. Look at this. 4RR, 8RR, 5RR, 14RR. Can you make that up? No, you can't. If you want to learn my personal models, check the links in my bio. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to learn the simplest strategy, click on the video right now on your screen. Peace.